I hit the low six figures my first full year in business scooping dog poop. 6 years later, my business is generating $250,000 per year. I started this business with around $1,000, a 2007 Chevy Cobalt, and I want to share with you how I was able to do this. I want to share with you the ups and the downs, what I think about this industry, and if I think starting a pooper scooper business in 2025 is still worth it. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Erica Crouppen, and I am the owner of Crouppen's Poopin' Scoopin', which is a dog waste removal business located here in Michigan. I started this business back in 2018. I was still working my hospital job at U of M Hospital. When I was working my hospital job, I felt empty. I felt very void. I would clock in, I would clock out. I wouldn't even give probably 70% of what I was worth because I was tired, felt like I was overworked, underpaid. You name it, that's how I felt. So I started doing some research trying to figure out what I wanted to do first. I originally wanted to open up a rage room. My lawyer talked me out of that. So I decided to start at this business. I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of time. I didn't have a lot of knowledge. But what I did have was the energy, I had the time, and I had the drive to get this started. So I hit the ground running. I did some research, figured out how to file for a DBA, which is a doing business as, got that, then shortly learned afterwards that I probably should have an LLC, so I filed for an LLC. Got all my supplies, such as like the bucket, the rake, the deodorizer. I reached out to everybody and anybody that I could get information from, and I kind of pieced it all together. And I didn't have money for advertising. Back then, advertising was known, but I feel like it wasn't as well known as it is today. Maybe it's just because my knowledge has grown. I've gotten around more educated people. I've gotten around people that put money into advertisement. At the time, knew nothing about Facebook ads, Google ads, none of it. So I started creating content, and I would post in buy-sell trade groups on Facebook, mom groups on Facebook, community forums on Facebook. And I had this one before and after picture that I posted in like 47 buy-sell trade groups, Facebook groups, whatever. I did a mass post before and after. I went away to a convention where I was like selling jewelry, and my phone just started blowing up. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what in the world is actually happening right now? All these people want my pooper scooper services. And that's really how my business exploded. But it didn't start that way. It started with one customer, Lori. It was a big yard, 2 dogs. I went there and scooped on a Wednesday evening after she got done with work. I drove out there. It was about a 25-minute drive. I charged her $20. I didn't know anything. I didn't know how long it was going to take. I didn't know how I was going to do this. I mean, I knew I was going to use the bucket and the rake and the trash bags that I purchased, but I wasn't sure how to walk a grid-like pattern. I wasn't sure of exactly how I was going to be able, like how fast I was going to be able to do this service. I ended up being there for almost an hour, but I do remember just being like, I just made $20 scooping dog poop. I just made $20 an hour scooping dog poop. Now, as a business owner, we know that if we make $20, we don't make that, right? That gets eaten up by overhead, gas, license, insurance, all of the things. But in my mind, I was like, $20 for scooping dog poop, count me in. And it was such an emotional thing because it's like, this can really be a thing. You know, I didn't know what was going to be ahead of me. I didn't know the trials and tribulations that I was going to go through, the ups and the downs, the growth, the beautiful moments, where I'm at now with YouTube and all the new people that are coming into this industry, the relationships that I've been able to develop in the poop scooping community, which some of my best friends are in the poop scoop community now, and it literally blows my mind. And my first customer came from me posting on my Facebook, my personal Facebook page. She was one of my Facebook people, and I can't exactly remember what the post was, but it was probably a before and after, or like, hey, I'm scooping dog poop. And she was like, hey, you want to scoop my dog poop? I said, yeah, sure. And that was it. That's how I started the business. It was very humble beginnings, no fancy logo, no fancy vehicle. I had a magnet, a basic magnet on my 2007 Chevy Cobalt. Who I am, what I do, and how to get in touch with me. Incredibly simple. At the time, I did haul the dog waste away with me. I no longer haul it with me. I leave it in the homeowner's trash can. I double bag it. That was a change that I made later on in business. But when I first got started, I put a cargo trailer. So I had to put a hitch and then a cargo trailer on the back of this 2007 Chevy Cobalt to haul that dog poop away. Humble, humble beginnings. My first year was a hustle. It was a grind. It was posting on Facebook every single day, creating social media videos, trying to figure out what my pricing was going to be. When I first started, I was charging $55 a month. It didn't matter how many dogs you had or how big the yard was. Then I realized how long it's taking me to scoop these yards. Maybe I should up my prices. Then I wanted to try to hire somebody, and then that really affected my prices. So all this kind of goes together as I was like raising my rates, but like overcoming the fear of customers wanting to drop my service because my prices were going to be too high, and I didn't have the confidence level. So the first year I was building a lot of confidence, and I wouldn't say that I was super confident my second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, sixth year, because every single year something new happens and it humbles me. Be super transparent. Every time something happens and I'm like, okay, wasn't expecting that. Now we got to figure out how to get through that issue. Like last year, 2 company vehicles were totaled. That was a huge hit on my business. When I first started, it was with paper, pencil, a Google Doc with my customer information on it. What was I collecting? I was collecting a first and last name, a phone number, an email address, their address, and any notes about the property. And this has been very consistent throughout the business. I haven't changed this much, except for I did switch over to Jobber, which is the CRM I use to run my business. If you are interested in knowing more about Jobber, there's a link down below where you can get a 14-day free trial. That's where I house all of my customer information now. But it didn't start like that in the beginning. You know, when I got these customers, I communicated with them fastly, friendly. I went back and forth with them. I wanted to get to know them. What was their reasonings? Why were they hiring me? And then I just delivered on excellent service. I started off just scooping on Tuesdays because I was still working at my hospital job. And then I built out my routes around that. And the route started to get a little bit crazy. So then I had to adjust and I had to move people's scoop days because I didn't really think about service area. I didn't think about travel time. I didn't think about any of that stuff because it wasn't, you don't know what you don't know. But as time goes on, you're like, wait a minute, I'm driving clear across town to go to this house and I'm only charging $13.75 and I have more drive time than I do actual scoop time. Wait, I need to work on my route density. So then I did some research and I found out what route density is. I learned how to route houses properly. And as time goes on, you're able to do more houses quicker, which is ideal. I can roughly do about 25 houses per day. I can't do any more than that because I'm not a super fast scooper. Some other scoopers do, not me. And because of that, I was able to get up past like 100, 125 customers. And my first full year in business, I was able to hit over $100,000 per year in income. Going from a hospital job where I was only making like $30,000, I don't even think I had hit $40,000, to producing over $100,000 was insane. Like my mind was completely blown. And at this time, I wasn't doing any paid advertisements because I didn't know how to do it. It was all organic. I would do the occasional like boost your post because that was kind of a thing back then. It's really not so much anymore. But like I had said earlier, I wanted to start hiring. And then once I started hiring, my profits definitely dropped. So I want to say that the most profitable I had ever been was when I was a solo scooper. But you go through this point where you start to hire staff, you start upgrading. Like I got a new logo, I got new branding, my brand colors were still the same. I did some work on the website. I invested into the CRM, and with that comes a lot of overhead. And I've definitely had some growing pains. I want to say scooping is much easier for me than the leadership part of it, dealing with the emotions, the hard stuff, because I hate being the bad guy. And there are times in business where you have to be the bad guy, and I wasn't comfortable having those conversations. I wasn't sure how to deliver them in a respectful manner or deliver them in general. And I really struggled through that. But this last year in business, like I said, I have been in business for 6 years, and my business is generating $250K per year. And when I kind of think about it, this is something where I want to be a little bit vulnerable with you guys. The fact that I was able to generate, like, I want to say it was like $106,000 or something around that within my first full year. And then 5 or 6 years later, I am only generating $250,000 a year. I caught myself almost being ashamed and embarrassed of that, because it's like, you should be over $1 million. You should be doing better like these other companies. And I really caught myself in the comparison game, comparing myself to these other guys that are in business, that are doing much better, even some girls that are doing much better than me. And if you're watching this and you're either new in business, this applies to people that are new or people that have been in business for a while. We're all walking different paths. We all have different experiences, trials, and tribulations that we go through. When I started, I had no business knowledge except for what I knew from selling Premier Designs jewelry and a little bit of what I seen my dad go through when he was running his hot dog stand. I didn't have good leadership when it came to that. I didn't have confidence to lead people. I was very insecure with a lot of my decision making, and I wasn't necessarily the most responsible with the money that I was making because I was spending it going on vacation, buying a Gucci belt, not reinvesting it like I should have. They say hindsight is 20/20. And through those years, the business has grown and it has stayed consistent, but I had to grow as an individual. Being a business owner is probably one of the most rewarding things that I have ever done in my life, because it has taught me so much. Last year taught me patience. Last year taught me gratitude. Last year taught me that sometimes you get knocked down, but if you rise up and you keep going and you keep pushing through, you will be able to come out on the other side. And I very much so am emotionally driven. And when things happen in the business, it feels so personal, because it feels like it's a personal attack on myself, because this is my baby, this is my business. I've done little things here and there to kind of deassociate myself from the business. Like when I first got started, I was very proud, like, I'm the owner, my name is Erica. So everybody knew me. And when complaints came in, it's not like the business, it's like Erica's doing a bad job. Erica, that's how I felt, right? So now when I send out messages and I send out emails, sometimes I'll spell my name a little bit differently. Instead of it being Erica, I'll spell it Erika. When I send out the email, that's the secretary that you're communicating with. So when they're complaining to the secretary. Is it weird? Yes, but it's a way that I have been able to remove myself and the emotions out of it. Like, it's not an attack on me, it's an attack on the business. Now, how can we fix this issue in the business? Is it a scheduling issue? Is it we're not documenting the fact that we closed the gate issue? Because that happened. We got accused of leaving a gate open. Dogs got out. My technician said that they closed the gate. Then I implemented a closed gate photo into our regular process when we scoop every yard. So it's little things like that to fix problems. And what I had to learn is the reason why we're in business is to fix problems. And with being the leader of this company, I have to take on the hardest problems, and I have to hit them head on, head first. I have to hit them fast and come in quick. You can't put it off. You need to handle stuff right away. So if you're a procrastinator and you're watching this video, business is going to be very difficult for you. And I have realized that some of my worst moments in business is because of procrastination, and procrastination didn't make anything better. You take that phone call right away if you have an angry customer, instead of being like, oh, I'm just going to call them later. Nope. Call them now. They're hot. Let's talk to them. Let's get it figured out. Let's resolve it. Hear them out. Don't get defensive. Maybe they're having a bad day. You might be having a bad day. It doesn't matter if you're having a bad day. They're paying you. And throughout the years, I also worked on my billing. I have significantly increased my prices. I had to do so I'd be able to hire quality staff. I want to be able to provide reliable vehicles. Now I want to be able to sink a great deal of money into advertising and marketing and blowing this business up. And will there be issues and trial and tribulations? Absolutely. I just had a kid silently quit on me. No call, no showed me. Devastated. Absolutely devastated. But what can you do? Nothing. You just flip on your Indeed ad and keep it moving. And that's exactly what I am doing. Because over time, you learn knowledge, you gain experience, you learn what to do, you learn what not to do. You know that there is a need for this business because dogs are always pooping. So I like to say crouping is a scooping. And there is way more dogs than pooper scoopers right now. And I know there's a lot of tension right now between like the old scoopers and new scoopers, because a lot of people are coming into this industry because it's getting a lot more well known. I do feel that yes, the competition does kind of suck, not gonna lie, but it makes us older people, the old school ones, be a little bit more on our toes, but it's creating more brand awareness. And the reason why I make these videos is to share a realistic viewpoint of what it's like, what I've gone through in my business. Just so maybe Erica from 5 years ago, 6 years ago would have loved to see these kind of videos, because there was nothing on the internet at that time. So I've learned a lot. I was able to increase my rates. I was able to keep the business consistent. We've been around $250,000 per year for the past 2 or 3 years. I do hope, and we're projected hopefully to hit $300,000 this year. I try not to get too excited about it because I don't want to like psych myself out, but that's what the goal is for this year. Only time will tell. So if you're interested in knowing more about the poop scooping industry, go ahead and leave some comments down below. I love to engage with you. If it wasn't for you tuning into my content and hanging out with me, I wouldn't have a channel and I wouldn't keep going, because you hanging out with me and me being able to see you grow a business keeps me inspired to keep making this videos. So go ahead and click one of my other videos that I will link somewhere over here, and please subscribe if you have not.